Good evening, guys. Happy Sunday. I hope you're all having a lovely day and a lovely weekend so far. We've got a little bit of a different kind of upload today. I wanted to film something really chilled and basically take you all through my kind of Sunday ritual, or like my Sunday routine, I guess you could call it, which is basically just a combination of cleaning, self-care, just getting ready for the week. It's one of my favorite days, to be honest, because I just feel like I get so much done and it sets me up so perfectly for the week. The first part of this is mostly going to be voiceover, but there are some more chatty parts towards the end, so definitely let me know which you prefer. But I thought for all of the cleaning, I'd just kind of film it as a voiceover and talk you through what I like to do. So I always start with the bedding and the sofa covers, get those straight in the wash just so that I know there is enough time to wash them and enough time for them to dry. These are like my favorite products that I like to use at the minute. I've only just got onto using scent boosters, and oh my goodness, why did I not use these sooner? Because they make so much difference. I've actually run out of fabric softener, and I don't know, sometimes I don't like to use it because I feel like it makes the washing machine tray like really gross. So I tend to use mostly scent boosters now, and I'm in love with the ones from Lenore. They smell so good. We also keep our smaller recycling bins under the stairs, so I always just take those out and pop them by the back door just so that I remember to empty them. I like to try to get everywhere downstairs done first, just so that I can get all of like the hoovering and mopping done as well, and then that can all be sort of drying whilst I'm cleaning upstairs. So I did the dishwasher first today just because that had been on last night, so unloaded that, got everything back in its little home. And then if there's any small bits of washing up that need doing, I tend to just wash those up there and then, because especially if the dishwasher is completely empty and it's only a couple of things to kind of like wash up, I just like to get those out of the way and just dried and put back in the cupboards as well. So I went ahead and did that. Okay, and in terms of actual cleaning products, I like to use a flash spray for all of the surfaces, and then I also have this like stainless steel cleaner spray, which I think is from Sif, if that's how you pronounce it, which is really good for like the sink and the hob. I found it hard to like find a good cleaner for the hob because especially on like the steel, the marks just show up really easily, but this one seems to do a fairly good job. And then I just give a little wipe down to any sort of bits and bobs on the side. So like the knife block, I'll just give that a quick wipe over, the little plate for the soaps, just to make sure everything is nice and clean and dust free. And then yeah, I just clean around the hob. I have to say, I do love having a gas hob, but the actual cleaning of it is the bane of my life, because I just feel like every single time that I use it, it needs cleaning straight away. I do kind of miss having an induction hob, and in hindsight, I kind of wish I had actually just paid to upgrade it when I first got the house. But it's one of those, like when you're first buying a house and you're paying for so many things, it was just another additional cost. And I actually do really like having a gas hob. It just takes a little bit longer to kind of clean around it. So once I have cleaned it, I just go over with a paper towel, because I find that if I do this rather than just letting it dry itself, I get way less streaks and it looks way sort of like cleaner in that sense. But once that's done, I just repeat everything for all of the rest of the kitchen sides. So I did around the toaster. I cleaned quite a lot of like the appliances today as well, because it had been a while since I'd done that. Like I emptied the little crumbs drawer in the toaster, cleaned the air fryer, gave the coffee machine a good wipe down, and yeah, just pretty much just finished all of that off. Moving on to the shelf, I can't lie, I hadn't actually properly cleaned this the past few times I cleaned the kitchen, just because I completely forgot to actually take everything off and give it a good dust. So with any of the wood in the kitchen, like the shelf and the kitchen table, I don't like to use anything too harsh. So I give them a good wipe down first, just with a damp cloth, and then I go in with a wood cleaner and also just a polish afterwards, just to make everything nice and shiny. This diffuser is my new favorite thing. It was a Christmas present from my friend Isla and I just love it. I have a diffuser upstairs as well in the bedroom, but it's one from Neom and it has to be constantly plugged in, whereas this one from the White Company can actually be taken off. Like it's technically cordless except for when it's charging. So I popped that on with the little winter scent that she got for me just to have something nice and fresh on the go in the kitchen. I always love to have like any sort of candles, diffusers, just something going on because I love the house to smell really, really good. And last but not least, I gave the kitchen table a good clean down and a good wipe over with the same products that I used on the shelf. I try so hard not to knock my head on the light, and somehow I manage it every single time. So once I'd done that, I put the table runner back on. I really love this table runner. I've had it ever since I first got the house. It's from Dunelm and I just love it. It's really cute. I realized I just said last but not least, but I did actually forget about the sink. So this is last but not least. So I just used the same stainless steel cleaner that I have just to give this a good clean and a good wipe down. I am still thinking about changing the sink to a ceramic sink, but whilst we're still decorating the house, I think I'm just gonna keep it as this sink for now because it is definitely getting trashed with all of like the paint trays and things that we wash out. So for now I'm probably going to keep it this way, but I don't know, I still kind of want to change it eventually to a ceramic sink. I just think that would finish the kitchen off so nicely. This all timed perfectly today as well because by the time I'd finished cleaning all of the surfaces in the kitchen, the bedding was done in the washing machine. So I just went ahead and put all of that in the dryer. As I said, I just feel like it's really good to get this done first because then I know it's definitely going to be dry and be able to go on again at the same night. So pop that in to be dried and then I moved on to the bins. So I took out the main bin and the 2 recycling bins from earlier. Moving on to the living room, we have a pretty small cozy living room, so there isn't really a lot of cleaning to be done in here. Obviously I've already taken the covers off the sofa, which I have to say, for anyone that has a dog, I 100% recommend doing that because it's so much easier than taking the actual sofa covers off and washing those. Like just washing separate blankets makes such a difference. But one thing I do like to do once I've washed the bedding and the sofa blankets is to put all of the rugs and mats from downstairs in the wash. I love the mats that we have by the front and back door because they are machine washable, so it's really, really easy to clean them. So I get all of those in just so that they're nice and fresh for the week, and then I do any sort of dusting that needs to be done in the living room. I also had this new Christmas garland that I completely forgot about, so I popped that on the console table as well. This is actually one of my favorite parts of cleaning downstairs as well, is putting all of the fresh blankets back on the sofa because they look so nice and pretty and neat when they're first all tucked in. Obviously they do get a little bit messy throughout the week as we're sat on the sofa, but I just went ahead and did a quick hoover and popped all of those back on. And then last but not least, whilst all of the mats and the rug are in the wash, I give everywhere downstairs a good hoover and a good mop, just so that it also can dry in time whilst I'm cleaning upstairs. Moving on to the bedroom, I like to give everywhere a good dust, so I'm using a polish on all of the surfaces like the chest of drawers, the bedside tables and the windowsill. I do also sometimes hoover the bed frame because the bed frame that we have is pretty chunky. This is my favourite room to clean upstairs first as well, because once any room is clean, that's when I do all of like the candles and the diffusers and things. So once I finish dusting, I go ahead and put all of those on too. I always like to hoover the bedroom right before I put fresh bedding on as well. So I then moved on to my dressing room, which was definitely in need of a good clean. I feel like out of all of the rooms of the house, this one gets the most chaotic because especially when I'm filming or I'm doing makeup, everywhere just gets very messy very quickly. So I like to give this a good tidy, ready for the new week. To clean all of the surfaces, I actually use Cinema Secrets brush cleaner a lot of the time because it's one of the only things that I found is really good at getting makeup out of things. It's technically a makeup brush cleaner, but it's really good for cleaning makeup off of surfaces, which is usually what is on a lot of the surfaces in this room. So I cleaned all of my desk, the windowsill, polished everywhere. I do all of the mirrors as well. I have such a good cloth now. I think it's from Minky, this green cloth. It's so good for cleaning glass surfaces and mirrors. I decided to do a bit more of a deep clean today as well because it had actually been a while since I last polished all of the shelves. It's one of those things that I just hate doing because it requires taking all of the shoes, all of the bags, everything off, and then obviously cleaning everything, like every shelf one by one. But today I was like, no, I actually need to do it. So I went ahead and did that. And I actually did a little bit of a declutter as well because there's a few sort of items. In fact, there's actually a lot of things in my wardrobe that I don't really use and wear a lot. I definitely need to do like a big declutter at some point, but I think I'm going to save that for the new year. So today I just decluttered some of the shoes that I've not worn in a while, like some boots and some heels that I don't really wear, and I'm probably just going to take these to a charity shop tomorrow. So once I'd finished all of that, I then just hoovered and mopped all of the floor in here, and that was this room pretty much done. Moving on to the bathrooms, there wasn't actually tons that needed doing in either of the bathrooms today because I had given them a pretty deep clean during the week. So I didn't clean the shower on this occasion, but I did just go over any sort of like surfaces, the sink. I hoovered and mopped again because I don't know if anyone else's boyfriend is like this, but Dan molts like a dog. And to be honest, so do I. So we often have like a lot of hair and stuff on the floor in the bathroom. So I just like to give that a good clean over. I also just emptied any bins and cleaned the mirrors as well. Like I said, this green cloth is so good. If anyone needs something to clean mirrors with, I cannot recommend it enough. And then once all of that was done, the rug was out of the dryer, so I put that back on. This rug is from Ruggable. It is amazing. I love having a machine washable rug. I have to say it's not the easiest thing to get back on the base by yourself because it's Velcro attached, so it's just very, very difficult to do it with one person, but I managed to get it done. So that was all nice and clean and everything downstairs was now pretty much finished. Freddie was then due his evening walk, so once we got back, I popped him in the bath and just gave him a little wash over, which is definitely not his favourite time of day. But especially in the winter, I do find that his paws get pretty muddy. So I gave him a little quick bath and then I finished cleaning off this bathroom, which, as I said, wasn't super messy because I had cleaned it earlier this week before my mum and my brother Charlie stayed. But it just needed kind of a bit of a refresh. There were a lot of towels in there that needed to go in the washing machine. Bin needed emptying, and I just gave the bath and everything else a little wash over, ready to have a bath myself this evening. Okay, so it is now, I think it's like 8 o'clock. I honestly can't believe how long that's taken me. I mean, it's definitely taken me longer to do because I've filmed it as well. I think I'm gonna have a bath. It's actually been a while since I've had a bath. And my favorite part about these kinds of days when I do loads of cleaning and loads of housework is getting myself a takeaway afterwards. Best believe I have not just cleaned that kitchen to go downstairs and cook a whole meal and make a mess. Like, that is not what we do after cleaning. So I'm gonna treat myself and get a takeaway. So I'm gonna order that whilst I'm in the bath. But I thought I'd quickly show you just like products that I like to use on a bit of like a self-care evening. I do kind of have like a little bit of oil in my hair. Like, if you've been looking at my hair throughout this whole video thinking it looks greasy and gross, A, it does, but B, I have got some like products and like oil in. I think I'm just gonna add a little bit more quickly. I think I might actually put this like deep conditioner treatment in. This is from Philip Kingsley. I got one of these spray bottles on Amazon and they're so handy to have. I use this when I like blow dry my hair as well, say if my hair's dried a little bit too much. Mist just like comes out really fine, but it really saturates the hair as well, if that makes any sense. Okay, and then I'm just gonna get a good amount of this mask and pop that in my hair. I'm really hard to kind of like look after my hair at the minute because obviously I did bleach it a few times to get it to the colour it is now, which I feel like it's pretty much back at my natural colour now in terms of my root. I've not had it dyed in a while because I feel like it's growing out fairly well. Like, you can't really see that I've got a root unless you really look, which was kind of the goal. Like, I do miss my dark hair, but I just could not deal with the upkeep in the end. Oh, to be fair, I did just realise I've not hoovered or put the bedding back on in the bedroom yet, because I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I have a thing with like clean bedding where I like to be clean myself to put it on. But yeah, that's the only thing I have left to do. So once I've bathed and showered, I'm gonna finish off the bedroom. And I'm gonna take down my Tatcha cleanser and also my Bondi Sands tannerizer, because I do have a little bit of tan still on. This is like my box of bath goodies. So I think today I might use my Colour Wow shampoo. I've not used this in a little while. I also have this product from Sienna X, I think the brand is. It's like a cleansing gel for face and body, so I'm going to use that to wash. And I think I might just use some of like my bath salts and some bubble bath. Okay, so I just got out of the shower, put my hair into this kind of like silk towel wrap that I have just whilst it's drying off a little bit. And I thought I'd quickly talk you guys through my skincare routine because I feel like I've had a few questions about my skincare routine recently, and I am trying to be more sort of like thorough with it. So in the shower, I had like a full everything shower. So I exfoliated and shaved whilst I was in the bath. I shampooed, conditioned, washed my body, and wash my face with my Tatcha cleanser. Cleansing is always like the first step of any sort of like skincare that I do, and then when I'm doing like my full thorough skincare routine, I like to go in with my red LED light mask. This one is from Current Body. It does look absolutely terrifying when it's on, and it's kind of hard to see anything when you're wearing it because the light is quite bright on your face. So you're supposed to use this on just like cleansed skin, because if you use it on top of any like moisturizers or serums, the light doesn't necessarily like penetrate through to the skin. So I always like to do this second after I've cleansed. So I'm going to pop this on now, and whilst I've got that on, I'm just going to moisturize my body. So I picked this moisturizer up recently on ASOS. It's from Rituals. It's the 48-hour hydrating body cream. The scent is lotus flower and white tea. I've not actually opened it yet, so I thought we could see what it's like together. I really like Rituals at the minute, and their moisturizers seem to last and sort of like hydrate my skin really well. That smells divine. Like, I'm sorry, how terrifying is that? And it gets worse. Can you imagine if I answered the door like this, if I got like a delivery or something? Before I do any more skincare, I'm going to quickly blow dry my hair. And I have to say, I feel like I've nailed the lazy girl blow dry. There was a point when I was doing like a full head of rollers and like a single roller for a single section, that kind of thing. But realistically, I just cannot be bothered doing that most of the time. So I've managed to get it down so that I only use 7 rollers. I have these pink Velcro rollers that I got on Amazon, and I like to use 2 of the largest size, like 2 of the biggest ones. Sorry, that's really not very clear. 2 of the biggest ones for the bottom section, 2 of the medium ones for the middle section, but I also have a 3rd medium one for my front pieces. And then I also have 2 skinny ones for the very top bit. I like to use my Dyson Airwrap for this. I use the kind of like circular brush drying attachment, and then I also use the thickest barrel. The brush attachment's really good for the sort of initial drying. I also use this on my front pieces as well, and I find that it gives like a really nice straight kind of frizz-free finish. It's also really good for volume, so this is what I go in with first, but then to add an extra bit of curl afterwards, I like to use the thickest barrel. And then in terms of heat protecting, I'm using the Amika The Wizard, which is a detangling primer and a heat protectant. This is my 2nd bottle of this now, and it's almost empty, and I will 100% repurchase it because it is by far the best thing that I've used in terms of like a pre-blow dry product. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of this glossy nectar from Oway, if that's how you pronounce it. I got this from Amber at my salon. I don't know if you can actually buy this, but any sort of like serum, like hair serum, will do the job. So I'm just gonna do like 2 pumps of that. In terms of blow drying my hair, I like to section out the front pieces first, and as I said, these go into kind of like a medium-sized roller. So we're going to be rolling everything under, just because I find that this gives the best kind of volume. I have tried rolling backwards for my front pieces, but for me it just looks better when they're rolled under and rolled forward, so it's totally personal preference. I also have my Dyson set to the lowest speed when I do the front pieces, which is a little tip that I picked up when I went for a blow dry at Dyson not too long ago, and I feel like this makes so much difference. For whatever reason, I just feel like I get a smoother finish when I have it on the lowest setting for the front pieces. So once I've done that, I just pop them in their little roller to set. And then moving on to the rest of the hair, as I said, I like to keep this as simple as possible. So I'm sectioning my hair from the top of my ear towards the back of my head. And this lower section is going to be the first 2 largest rollers. So I just go around my whole head and I do a few passes over or like on top of the hair, and then I do the rest rolling under. So as I said, everything will eventually be rolled under, but I initially go over just to get a really nice, smooth, frizz-free kind of finish. Once I finish drying with the brush attachment, you can 100% just leave this like it is if you want to, but I do like to add a little bit of extra curls. So I then go in with the barrel, and again, as I said, everything is being curled underneath just to give a really nice kind of like bouncy blow dry effect. So at no point do I sort of like switch the direction on the barrel either, because everything around the whole head is curled under. So once I've done that and everything is nice and dry and curly, I then pop it in the roller. You can also use smaller rollers for this section if you want to keep it curlier, but towards the bottom I use the bigger rollers just because I get extra volume there, and then I work my way up with the smaller ones. Okay, so once you're all done, you should have something that looks like this, and then it's up to you how long you leave them in to set. I usually leave them for around an hour, but you can leave them longer if you want the kind of shape to hold better. And then it's just a case of taking all of the rollers out. You can add a little bit of hairspray if you want to. I sometimes add a little bit of extra serum if my hair's feeling a little bit dry, but this is the finished hair and it lasts really well. It just leaves my hair feeling so smooth and healthy too. Okay, and then back onto skincare. I'm next in going with my new face device, which again, I'm trying really hard to be consistent with at the minute. This is really great for tightening and lifting the skin. You always want to use a suitable gel for any kind of microcurrent device as well. So I'm just using the gel that you get with the new face, and I go over each section of my face 10 times, and I just make sure to move it nice and slow just to make sure that it's actually kind of doing its job. For serum, I'm then using the Dalba First Spray Serum. I am obsessed with this stuff at the minute. I love the fact that it's a spray as well because it's just so convenient and it hydrates so well. I'm then just going to add a little bit of eye cream and some moisturizer. I'm still using my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream for moisturizer because it's just my favorite ever, and I know it works really well for my skin, but any sort of like thick hydrating moisturizer will do a similar job. And then last but not least, for my face, I like to use an oil. So this one is from Ole Henriksen, and I just apply this all over. I try to kind of rub everything in upwards motions as well. And then I also do a little bit of gua sha just to finish off, and you always want to make sure you have some sort of oil or slippery product on the skin just to make sure this glides and it doesn't tug too hard. But this is my kind of like facelift, face sculpt, hydrating skincare routine currently. And then I am actually finishing off with hyaluronic acid on my lips and my Fenty lip gloss. This was a little hack that I saw on TikTok, and so far I'm really loving it. And then I do also like to use a perfume in the evening, so I just feel like that makes me feel so nice and girly and gorgeous at the end of the day. And finally finished with my takeaway. I made my bed, I got all cozy, and this was my Sunday ritual, Sunday self-care day, all complete. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.